the Supreme Court restates its order made on 8th of February restraining the federal government through the CBN from implementing its February the 10th deadline of invalidating the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira as legal tender. The court restated this order after it joined 9 states as co-plaintiff in the suit and 2 states as respondents. Judiciary correspondent Celestina Area has details.
The Supreme Court on 8 February halted the federal government through the CBN or any of its financial institutions from stopping the use of the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes. This order is to subsist pending in hearing of the motion or notice filed by Kogi, Kaduna and Zamfara State challenging the decision of the CBN to stop the use of the old 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes by 10th February. The Supreme Court have made an order of interim injunction restraining the federal government through the Central Bank of Nigeria or the commercial banks from suspending or ending on 10th February 2023 the time frame within which the old version of the 200, 500 and 1,000 naira denomination of the naira may no longer be a legal tender. The court adjourned to 15th February. At the resumed sitting, 11 other states brought in applications to be joined in the suit. Lagos, Ondo, Ekiti, Katsina, Cross River, Ogun, Sokoto State, Kano, and Niger State sought to be joined as co-plaintiff, while Edo and Bayelsa State sought to be joined in the suit as respondents. The court admitted parties seeking to be joined as either co-plaintiff or respondents in the suit and ordered their existing plaintiffs, which is Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara State, to amend their processes to reflect the same. Counsel to the state government, Akim Mustafa, drew the attention of the court to the non-compliance of the respondents to the orders of the court. The justices of the Abet Court noted that the order is to subsist pending a hearing of the motion or notice. The 7-member panel led by Justice John Okoro noted that what is most paramount is for the good of the nation without losing facts of the sufferings of the people. He asked the parties to maintain peace and they should return to court on 22nd February to consolidate all applications and hear the substantive matter.
Look, we are working towards solving this problem. It's a national problem and we are working towards solving this problem. There aren't 2 sides. We are affected on both sides. We are trying to solve it. Please, I want you to know the government is not deliberately frustrating the plaintiffs. This is a problem that we are trying to solve. With a little time, it will be solved. Please, I beg you.
We made the point to the court that the court order of 8th of February restraining the defendant is still subsisting, and the court confirmed now, and the implication of that is that the old notes still remain as legal tender in this country. The policy or directive given by the CBN governor becomes inconsequential.
We are in court because Nigerians are suffering as a result of this CBN modeled up cashless versus currency redesign. That is why we are here today, and from the understanding we have from this court, the order made by these honorable justices still subsists up till Wednesday when the matter will be heard.
The CBN had on 14th February announced that the old naira notes are no longer legal tender. This move by the CBN is contrary to the orders given by the Supreme Court. The Lagos State government in a press release urged Lagosians to desist from rejecting the old naira note or face prosecution. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
Yet to be identified persons have been shot dead following a protest in Benin, the Edo State capital, over the unavailability of the new naira notes. The lifeless body was sighted at the Ring Road, where protesters had expressed their dissatisfaction over the central bank policy. Paul Ezenwa tells us more.
Trouble started on Wednesday morning when customers thronged banking halls and automated teller machines in Odu, but were disappointed to know that there were no new notes and bank refused to accept their old notes. Frustrated by the development, some youths took to the streets blocking Udu Expressway. The protest started in Uruwuri Junction before spreading to the expressway as two commercial banks were set ablaze. The angry mob first vandalized the banks by hurling stones and other objects at the bank premises, leaving customers to scamper for safety. Two vehicles at the premises of one of the banks were set ablaze before security agents intervened. According to the police public relations officer, Edo State, 9 suspects have so far been arrested by the police as normalcy returns to the area. He assured the public and the banks of their safety, but commercial banks in Warri, Uwe and Environ shut down operations early. Meanwhile, the Delta State Governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, has appealed to citizens of the state and Nigerians to remain calm amid scarcity of the new naira notes in the country. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Warri.
Two commercial banks, some automated teller machines, 2 vehicles have been burnt by some youth in Udu near Warri, the commercial city of Delta State, as they protest over the scarcity of the newly redesigned naira and rejection of the old notes by commercial banks despite the implementation of the CBN policy. We have details in this report.
This is coming barely 24 hours after the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele announced that the old naira note has ceased to be legal tender. Places like Eleyele Ruwa Road, Iwo Road and Bodija were not left out as angry agitators in their numbers barricaded the major roads, leaving motorists and commuters stranded for hours. They are lamenting over the scarcity and rejection of the old naira notes.
Commercial activities were halted in major areas across the metropolis following the protests over the central bank refusal to extend deadline for the naira swap. The protest began this morning when traders besieged the central bank office in Benin, demanding for new naira notes as the policy has adversely affected their source of livelihood. The protest, however, degenerated into violence, leading to the death of one person. The protesters claimed they had endured too much hardship when they gathered around the CBN office at Apapa Ring Road to seek an end to suffering. Relics of some banks' automated teller machines, ATM, and point-of-sales machine littered the grounds. Paul Ezengwa, TVC News, Benin.
Also in the southwest, protesters took over various roads and streets in the Ibadan metropolis, expressing their anger against continuous scarcity of naira notes and petrol. The agitators barricaded major roads, leaving motorists and passengers stranded. Olaide Oyewole gives us an update.
This is coming barely 24 hours after the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele announced that the old naira note has ceased to be legal tender. Places like Eleyele Ruwa Road, Iwo Road and Bodija were not left out as angry agitators in their numbers barricaded the major roads, leaving motorists and commuters stranded for hours. They are lamenting over the scarcity and rejection of the old naira notes. These protesters, mostly traders and owners of small businesses, converge on the state secretariat in Ibadan, lamenting the hardship faced over this policy. Some of them who were seen carrying calabash say they want a total turnaround from what they described as an unbearable situation. Meanwhile, at a security meeting held by service commanders, residents were advised to keep calm, promising efforts are in place to put the situation under control.
And of course, you can see their feelings, which is genuine. But what we want to say is that we don't want hoodlums to take advantage of this and turn the state into a place where they will say there is no law and order. Yes, there may be political undertone and all those things, but what the security commanders want to assure the people of Oyo State is that the proactive measures they put in place, they will continue with it, and I think the proactive measures had helped in a very big way because if there have not been proactive measures, maybe the situation would have escalated.
As Nigerians look forward to the general election come February 25, it is only expected that calm returns to every part of the country to ensure a itch-free exercise. Oladio Yewoli, TVC News, Ibadan.
The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and his running mate, Senator Kashim Shettima, held campaign rally at the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital. Port Harcourt residents from different local government areas trooped into the stadium to support the APC candidate. Asiwaju Tinubu is promising to empower the young ones in skill acquisition, make Nigeria an exporting nation to improve the country's economy if elected the next president. The APC flag bearer and his running mate, after the campaign, visited the Rivers State Governor Yusuf Wike at the Government House in Port Harcourt.